Man, oh man, oh me. Looks like we got us a little SEC schedule now. Official SEC schedule. We'll wait here for a little bit to see if anybody's out there. It's pretty late. It's about 9:30, I guess 9:35, somewhere along there, or close to 9:30 anyway. Just wanted to jump in here real quick and get you guys and gals' thoughts out there in college football land, specifically in the SEC and Texas and Oklahoma, who are going to be the newest SEC family members officially as of today. It's official. It's official. Oklahoma and Texas. Welcome to the SC freaking C. Hopefully we'll get a few people in here. Like I said, it's a little late to be doing a live. I'm just testing this out. If it don't work out too well, hell, I guess I can always delete it, right? But I'm going to get on here real quick, see if we can't find the chat button here. Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to find the chat here so I can make sure I see everybody's comments. What's up, that Christian fam channel? Well, brother, I tell you what's up. The SEC and Oklahoma and Texas are officially brethren of college football. You're now part of the SEC, brother. Congratulations. And we might get to see each other, brother, because I might be coming to Norman, Oklahoma in 2024. It just might be there. The OCF finally gets to come to Norman, Oklahoma. Oh, there's Eric Mofield into his house. Yes, sir, says Christian Fam Channel. Here comes Hank, a.k.a. Kyle. OU got a touch of the SEC schedule, and the Shorthorns got a 2-game schedule. Yeah, it looks like Texas might have got a little bit of a pass that first year. They might have got a little something a little simple. I ain't got no graphs to throw up here for y'all right now, but if you want your comment or your you got a question that you want highlighted or pushed to the top of the board that you want answered right away so I can see it, just hit the little money button down there in the comment section. Hit that, type out the comment. Make sure you type that out, because if you don't, you'll send it and you won't get your money's worth. Type out the comment and send it, and I'll make sure that I answer your question first. Texas and Georgia in 2024, says Eric Taco Marino. See a lot of badges in here tonight. In case y'all wonder what them badges are all about, by the way, that's the badge they give to the Outlaw Posse. On $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week, just to saddle up and ride that horse and be a part of the posse each and every week. I can't even talk tonight. I'm so excited, man. Finally. You can feel it now. It's official. The SEC schedule has been made. And now we know. The 247 Sports put out a projection a few days back, and I sort of done a video on that. And they were right for the most part, but there were a few things they were wrong about. For example, they said Alabama would have to go to Athens. Georgia's coming to Tuscaloosa instead. That's good news for Alabama, although I'm not saying it's because they're my team, but Alabama got a pretty rocky road ahead of them with that SEC schedule in 2024. Matter of fact, let's look at that real quick, so y'all don't think I'm just taking it for my team. Alabama has Georgia, Auburn, Missouri, and South Carolina at home, and then they have road games at LSU, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. So Alabama has to play Georgia, Auburn, LSU, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Not to mention, I think that non-conference year, I think they got someone like maybe Florida State. You got Florida State or either Wisconsin one coming up on the 2024-2025 schedule. I think Alabama has to go to Madison, Wisconsin that year or something. Didn't I sign up for that? Says Eric Mofield. Well, no, Eric, you never have joined the Outlaw Posse, brother. But when you do, we'll make sure we get you that badge that all these other guys and gals have out there. We got a Sweet 16 right now. We actually got our first female member, Alice Stokes, which is the mother of one of our loyal listeners, Heath Stokes. By the way, a lot of people helped me with this tonight. They were sending me links and whatnot, and little stories about this topic, and they were Heath Stokes, Charles Brown, Brandon Dunn, and Teresa West Sherwood Moser. Teresa's probably got the longest name in history. She's got like 4 names, right? All right. I made a few observations from this. If you look at Oklahoma's schedule here, Oklahoma has Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, and South Carolina at home. That would have been something if Spencer Rattler had been there one more year now, wouldn't it? Because old Spencer Rattler would have been coming to Norman to try to get a little bit of revenge. But luckily for y'all, old Spencer Rattler will be gone. And then Oklahoma's road games has LSU, at Auburn, at Ole Miss, and at Missouri. Not too bad, not too hard. LSU is always a little harrowing of a trip. Although Alabama's got a winning record there by miles, the problem is with LSU, and a lot of people have complained. I've never been to Baton Rouge for a game, so I wouldn't know. But I've heard that Baton Rouge is a pretty harrowing place to go on Saturday night. So good luck with that, Oklahoma. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about Texas, but before I get to Texas, some of the observations that I made from Oklahoma's schedule were Oklahoma does not play Texas A&M or Arkansas. Now, those are 2 former Big 12 members that Oklahoma used to play regularly, so it sort of surprised me that those 2 were not scheduled to play against Oklahoma. I mean, I would have thought that Texas A&M and Arkansas would have been a given, but it doesn't look that way. Now, in 2025, they may change it up a little bit because they're going to eventually go to that 9-game schedule that everybody keeps bitching about. The rest of the nation keeps giving us hell about not playing 9 games, but it was a lot of logistics involved. For Texas and Oklahoma coming in as early as they are, the logistics were just not possible or feasible to go to a 9-game schedule immediately. But the SEC will go to a 9-game schedule, and then y'all can't bitch about anything else. And then y'all have to beat the SEC in the playoffs because there will be a 12-team playoff. So what that means for most of y'all out there, because people seem to think expand the playoffs is going to give them a better chance to win it. All that does is make more spots for the SEC. Instead of getting possibly 2 SEC teams in, now you're probably guaranteed to see a 3rd, maybe even a 4th SEC team get in the playoffs in the near future, especially with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma, which are 2 of the biggest brands in college football history. King of Spades, Josh Heupel, will be coming back to Norman looking for an upset. Yeah, and I know Tennessee and Oklahoma played a 2-game set a few years back, and I think Oklahoma got the best of them both games, right? I don't think Tennessee won either one of those games. So I think Tennessee will be probably looking to get a hold of them some sooner ass, but they might get their ass whooped, because just because you want revenge don't mean you're gonna get it. Now this ain't like Rocky 2. People think everything's like Rocky 2, and in Rocky 2 you get your revenge and you overcome and you win and all that stuff, yada yada yada. But in reality, in real life, we all know that Rocky would have never beat Apollo Creed. Ever. Let's see. Arkansas was Southwest Conference. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking or saying, but the reason why I said that is because Arkansas is a border state of Oklahoma. So the opportunity to, cultivate a new rivalry, especially with them being border states, seems to me like it would have been a no-brainer, Hank. Seems to me like Arkansas would have been a no-brainer because they was talking about how they wanted to cultivate new and exciting rivalries. I'll pass on that one. Those guys are pretty close, right? I don't think Norman's very far from Fayetteville. Hell, I think now Oklahoma might actually be the closest SEC school to Fayetteville. But Fayetteville's way off in the corner of Arkansas, all up there where they like humping pigs and all that other stuff. I would take it, says Hank. Yeah, a lot of people would take it. A lot of people were upset that they didn't get that. That you don't get the Oklahoma-Arkansas thing right away. That Christian fam says, I think they're saving the rivals for the 25 season. I think you could be right about that, fam. I think that, or Jermaine, whatever you want me to call you. I think that's what's going on. This is just like a pilot year, a test year. And in 2025, they will end up making Arkansas probably a permanent for Oklahoma, because it's just a no-brainer. I mean, they're border states. Of course, Missouri's a border state too with Arkansas, but who the hell wants to have a rival with Missouri, right? Next negotiation window. That is correct. I think you're right on that, Hank. Also, if y'all don't mind, if you're on a phone, just click off the live chat temporarily, go out and hit and smash that like button, because it helps with the algorithm and pushes it, makes YouTube push it out more, and maybe we can get some more folks in here. Maybe they'll notify some more people that we're talking about the new SEC football schedules. Now, also some observations that I made was A&M, Texas A&M is getting Texas at home and no Oklahoma. So I can see they give Texas A&M some kind of concessions here, because Texas A&M was none too happy about the two of y'all coming over. I promise you that. And the thing is, they get Texas at home, which is what they wanted, and they don't have to play Oklahoma. So they ain't got to worry about that. Texas. Let's look at Texas, because a lot of people have been complaining about Texas, not just Oklahoma fans now. A lot of people have been complaining that they had a pretty easy route. Texas has Mississippi State, Florida, Georgia, and Kentucky in Austin. Their supposed road games are Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt. Now, the argument from a lot of Oklahoma fans out there is the fact that that's not really a road game for Texas, because it's not. It's a neutral site game. But the double-edged sword of that is this, is the rest of the SEC, just like with Georgia and Florida in their little Jacksonville neutral site game, it's been done the same way as this. The rest of the SEC, they are not making y'all play a neutral site game. If y'all want to make sure in the future that y'all do have an actual home game in that event, then you just got to do away with the neutral site game. So like Alabama and Auburn did. You'll start having to have Oklahoma and Texas play real home and home games, and Georgia and Florida playing real home and home games, because the fact that y'all have it as a neutral site game, it sort of hinders y'all, and you're actually really doing it to yourself, because nobody's making y'all play a neutral site game, although it is tradition to do that, and a lot of people don't want to give up that tradition. So I guess that's the sacrifice that you're making when you play neutral site football games. Did Texas A&M, Mizzou don't even belong in the SEC. Now, Missouri did go to the SEC title game a couple of years in a row, 2 years in a row, back in the mid-2010s. So they've done better than Texas A&M has. Did Texas A&M get Vandy? Let's look and see what Texas A&M's got here. Texas A&M. What do I do with Texas A&M? Here they are. Old Tammy. Tammy's got LSU, Arkansas, Missouri, and Texas at home in College Station. So 2 good games for Texas A&M at College Station. You got LSU and Texas. Then they go to Auburn, to Mississippi State, to Florida, and to South Carolina. So no, Texas A&M did not get Vanderbilt in their mix. The easiest game they may have got, but you might be able to consider an easy out for them, might be Mississippi State or South Carolina. But those 2 teams are not easy outs anymore. As a matter of fact, I think Mississippi State has beaten Texas A&M 2 or 3 times in the past 5 years or so, 5 or 6 years. See what we got here. You can call me Jermaine, bruh. Okay, that's what I'll call you then. I can, I have a bad memory, so I'm not real good with names sometimes. So the first name I see pop up here is usually the one I call you by. Although I did remember Hank's name is Kyle. Mizzou surprised the SEC these first 2 years with the Big 12 offenses, then fell back to the back of the pack where they make their home. Yeah, although, just to play devil's advocate here, Missouri did play Georgia the closest that anybody played them last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think that they had Georgia on the ropes. They had them beat. And I think that Georgia had to score twice in the fourth quarter to come back and win that football game. So, and they give Drinkowitz an extension, so they must be thinking that something great's going to happen from Eli Drinkowitz in the future. Other observations I've made on here, in my opinion, and I'm not like once again, I'm not saying this because they're my team, but I think Alabama got the hardest schedule along with Vanderbilt. Look at what Vanderbilt has. They're not doing Vanderbilt any favors. Vanderbilt needs to get the hell out and join the Ivy League or something like that and make room for somebody else that can actually compete. Although Vanderbilt's been moderately competitive this last decade. They have went to a few bowl games, so that's not fair for me to say. But Vanderbilt has Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas all at home. We all know Nashville is not real kind to Vanderbilt. Nashville's like a great bowl trip for everybody that plays them because usually the visiting team has more people there than the people at Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt plays on the road at LSU, Auburn, Missouri, and Kentucky. So that means Vanderbilt has Tennessee, Alabama, Texas, LSU, and Auburn. I don't think Vanderbilt's going to bowl this year. What do y'all think? Uga fell victim to overlooking Missouri. Tim Gillespie, wait, OU is going to the SEC? Why, hell yeah, they are. Like I said, finally, the OCF may get a chance to finally come to Norman, Oklahoma, because 2024, it's going to be the Crimson War. The Crimson Nations collide in 2024. Also, like I mentioned earlier before, if you don't mind, jump out of the live chat, hit the like button. Also, if you want your comment pushed to the top where I can see it and readily answer your question quicker than anybody else's, just hit the little $sign right there next to the comment section where you do your little comment. There's a little $sign. Hit that for whatever you want in there, $5, $10. It'll highlight it and push it to the top. So yeah, you can do that if you want to. That donate money to the program, help me out there. Also, in the description of this video, I do have my Cash App link that Heath Stokes suggested I start putting in there. That way we can sort of cut the middleman out, and that way the show can get all the money, and we don't have to share as much with YouTube if you want to donate through the Cash App link that I put in the description section. No, we're being sarcastic. Norman will never be the same. You're right, Tim. Well, you know, Alabama's been to Norman before, but we sucked ass back then. And actually, we was doing decent under Franchione, but the dumbass left. Marty Keen's up in here, and he says, keep it up, man. I'm trying to keep it up, brother. You know I'm trying to keep it up. We're not going to get into all that keeping it up stuff, so... But yeah, I'm getting a little up in age, and keeping it up sometimes is a chore. But another topic for another day. But I appreciate the hell out of that $5 donation coming from Marty King. He's one of our Outlaw Posse members as well. As you can see, he's got his badge on as well. He's up in here backing up the posse once again. And roll tide. That's right. And the Christian Family Channel, he sings one in there as well. $2 chat from him. Saying, hey, from Dallas. I didn't know you lived in Dallas, man. That's pretty cool. I need to come visit you then, because I hear they got some great steaks in Dallas, Texas. Also, let's look on here. Let's look at Georgia, because some people have been bitching about Georgia as well. Georgia has Florida, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Tennessee at home. Then they go on the road to play Alabama, Ole Miss, Kentucky, and Texas. Now, the projections that I saw from 247 Sports, was that actually Georgia would be playing that game against Alabama in Athens, and they did not have Texas on there. So that's a big, huge difference from what they projected. So Georgia looks like they actually do have a decent schedule this time. It doesn't look like they powdered it up for them. And we got another big donation coming in from Mr. Heath Stokes. No comment from Heath. And we've got $10 donations from Heath Stokes. As I said earlier, Heath, I don't know if you was in here. I give you credit because a few of y'all were hitting me up with this story that was breaking about the SEC was doing their reveal tonight. Heath sent me a few good nuggets and a few good ideas, along with Charles Brown, Brandon Dunn, and Teresa West, Sherwood Moser. I should be spraying my tongue with that long-ass name, man. I get the brain spraying. See what we got here. We're going to see you in Norman next year. Oh, yeah. It's official, man. It's finally official. It didn't really feel official to me until these schedules came out. Now these schedules come out, now we know. Now we can feel it, man. We can feel it. We can feel it. We got another donation coming in, another zinger. It's Marty Keene. Once again, you're doing a great job, man. Hopefully the donations can help you get the things you want to better the show. Roll Tide, brother. That's right, Roll Tide, Marty. I think these Oklahoma people are real giddy about having us up there. The last time we played Oklahoma back in the day, in the early 2000s, Oklahoma beat us in both of those games, but from what I remember, it was probably some of the more cordial fans that I've ever seen here in Tuscaloosa. I didn't have too many issues with any Oklahoma fans, and vice versa. Oklahoma fans said when Alabama came to Norman that our fans were cordial as well. So Crimson Nation's rule, in my opinion, but I'm a little biased on that. Eric Taco Marino with a big $10 donation as well, brother. I don't see a comment there from you, but appreciate the hell out of that once again. Eric was actually the first member of the Outlaw Posse. He got the very first badge, so he was the first ever deputy, the first man to ever saddle up and ride with the OCF. So congratulations to Eric on doing that. Vandy should join the Nagasaki Egg Rolls. You damn right. The Nagasaki Egg Rolls, man. I feel sorry for them because I've been hearing that, there's some consideration that if an old Linky boy and the Skittle shitters out there shit the bed in L.A., and I think they will eventually. The rumor is old Linky boy is going to end up in the Japanese American Football League as the punting coordinator for those Nagasaki Egg Rolls. Kenneth Qualls, do you think Alabama-Oklahoma game will be Oklahoma's first conference game? I kind of think that it will. That's a hard ask. I don't know, Kenneth. I think that Alabama-Oklahoma, it might not be the very first game of the season, but I could see it being the very first SEC game. You're right. I think that they'll probably be scheduled maybe third or fourth into the regular season schedule. Michelle Cruz Hickok is up in here. Says, can you imagine how badly A&M would cry if they had to play both Texas and OU? Squeal like a Ned Beatty pig. Coming up in here with some good movie quotes, boy. I watched that movie one time, Michelle. That's it, one time. And watching that shit again. That shit got me to heebie-jeebies, boy. I was scared to go out in the trailer park out here in Holt, Alabama, where I grew up. And we used to go out in the woods and stuff and frolic and have all sorts of fun, man. After watching that damn movie as a kid, man, that shit scarred me a little bit. I was too young to be watching that shit. Eric Taco Marino is laughing his ass off. Man, I need to get some of whatever Eric's got. Yeah, Deliverance, you're right. Great to see that Georgia finally has to play a real SEC schedule. Yeah, it looks like they hooked them up pretty good. But I will say Texas, it looks like Texas might have got a little bit of a lube up too. It seems like, maybe that Texas money may be talking. It's like, hey, we're going to come with Oklahoma, but do us a favor and give us not such a hard first year. Because they get Florida and Georgia in Austin. That's pretty nice. Although that could mean that in 2025 Texas gets the burn put to them, and they have to go to Florida and Georgia in 2025. But I don't know if the SEC schedule is going to be like that. Just like y'all mentioned earlier, this is probably just a warm-up year, and in 2025 they will probably go to a 9-game schedule, and they'll probably redo some stuff, and someone might end up having to actually play 2 road games back-to-back to another opponent. That's happened in the past with Alabama and LSU, where we had to go to Baton Rouge because of some kind of scheduling quirk. Now, Tennessee, someone was asking about Tennessee earlier. Tennessee has Alabama, Mississippi State, Florida, Kentucky, and Tennessee then plays at Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Georgia, and at Oklahoma. Tennessee's they not too bad. I mean, and everybody knows that Vanderbilt's never a road game for Tennessee, so I don't see Tennessee having too hard of a SEC schedule. I mean, it's not easy. None of it's going to be easy. That's what people don't realize is even Vanderbilt can up and beat you. Now, here's one thing about the new schedule that really caught me a little bit off guard, and that is the fact that Alabama and Mississippi State, and this may not matter to a lot of y'all out there, but Alabama and Mississippi State will not play. Alabama and Mississippi State, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the last time they didn't play was probably the 1940s or the 1950s. They've played just about every year. People don't realize that because we beat their ass sort of like Oklahoma does, the Okey Pokey State. We own Mississippi State like Oklahoma owns Okey Pokey State. And, yeah, but it's just surprising. And the Mississippi State people are probably more upset about it than Alabama because that's a big game for them in Starksville. It's a real economic boom for them over in Starksville. Charles Brown says Boomer Sooner. Charles Brown in the house. I give you some accolades earlier, Charles. Did a shout out, call out to people that were sending me links. Charles sent me the actual SEC schedules of every single team, all 16. So I appreciate the hell out of that, Charles. Appreciate your help, brother. I'm going to get you in the Outlaw Posse eventually. You're going to get you a badge. You have to get you a badge, man. If you want one of these badges like everybody else has got you, all you got to do is join the Outlaw Posse. It's a little join button. That's the subscribe button. It's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. So just hit that. We'll give you a badge, saddle up, be a part of the posse. I'm going to think of some perks. I've already thought of one where you can actually give shout-outs or request shout-outs for a business or someone that's in a hospital or somebody that you know that you want to give a shout-out to, not just yourself personally. Son of the South has retracted his message. Well, Son of the South, I don't know why you did that, brother. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, brother. All right. Once again, if you don't mind, go out of the live chat. If you're on the phone, just click off of live chat real quick. Hit the like button and jump back in here because it helps with the algorithm. If you don't mind, hit that like button. All right, let's look at here and see what those Auburn Tigers got in Hugh Freeze's first year. Auburn has Texas A&M, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. Then they have to go on the road and play at Alabama, at Georgia, at Missouri, and at Kentucky. So, Auburn don't look like they got too tough of a deal. And they got Arkansas and Vanderbilt and Missouri and Kentucky. Now, I know Kentucky's come around here lately and they're doing decent. But still, we all know that Kentucky's still a middling team. Although, like I said, Stoops has done an amazing job at Kentucky, and he is the winningest coach there of all time now. Be a good reason maybe why they need to tell John Calipari to chill the hell out and quit trying to piss the man off, or he's going to leave like Bear Bryant left Kentucky back in the day. Nobody is getting off easy. You're right. That's the point I just made. We try to look at these schedules and find out who's got the raw end of the deal and who got the easier route. But when it comes down to it, these teams fluctuate off and on as to who's the greatest. Now, Alabama and Georgia, granted, have been at the top mostly for the past 10 years or so in this conference. But, like Auburn, for example, one year Auburn will be world beaters and they'll be contending for the SEC title, and the next year they'll be 5-7. LSU, same way. LSU win national championships. As a matter of fact, they've won the most national championships, second only to Alabama this century. But then they'll turn around and have like a 5-7 year like Auburn. As you remember, Auburn won national championship back in 2010, and then 2 years later, they're firing their coach for going 3-9. So these teams, it's a cycle. Right now, it doesn't seem that way, like I said, because Alabama and Georgia have been sort of dominating off and on for a while, but LSU continues to sneak in there periodically. So there's no easy out in the SEC anymore. There used to be. Back in the day, I remember when Mississippi State was an easy out. Ole Miss was, Vanderbilt, South Carolina sometimes to some degree. Used to be easy out, so there ain't no more. OU got a gauntlet, but I'm freaking pumped. Son of the South is pumped. All right. Let's see. Who does Lane Kiffin draw in his first year with the new SEC? Ole Miss draws Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, and Oklahoma at home. So that's going to be a good road trip for Oklahoma, by the way. I don't know if Oklahoma's ever played a road game at Ole Miss, but from what I hear, and I've never been to Oxford either, but from what I hear, the Grove is a good time. So there's going to be a lot more passionate tailgates. And that's no insult to your former conference and your former brethren, but I just don't vision a road game in Waco against Baylor as being somewhere that's on a bucket list for anybody. Probably not even for Baylor fans. Hell, Baylor fans probably rather play road games. Because the only destination places in the Big 12 I've ever wanted to go were Oklahoma and Texas to some degree, although I've heard some bad things about Austin on the political side of things. I won't get into all that, though. And let's look at Arkansas. Arkansas has LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas at home. Then Arkansas they have to go on the road to Missouri, to Auburn, to Texas A&M, and Mississippi State. So not too bad for Arkansas. But if y'all have any questions about the schedule, a team that you really want me to talk about, or a game that you want to talk about, just put in the comment section. Or you can hit that $sign, push it to the top, and I can get to it more readily and answer your questions. A little $sign down there where you can comment and donate, and like I said, get your question to the top. We got 25 people up in here, 17 likes, and we had some pretty good donations tonight. Keep the donations coming in for this channel. We need more real, raw content like this. Keep the Outlaw channel growing. Love the unfiltered reactions. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get live. I haven't got a chance to edit or nothing, man. I'm just coming in here ad-libbing the hell out of it. You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Yes, I know wrestling's fake. For you get some jackass Captain Obvious in here wetting his panties about it. Keith Stokes with another big $10 donation, brother. Appreciate the hell out of that. But if you want to get a question answered, Keith, I don't know what Keith for, man. If you want to get a question answered, Heath, you need to write in a little comment section, then send it. I don't know if you're trying to ask me a question or not, but maybe you're just maybe you're just being nice and making a one-time donation. But Ikajar comes up in here and he asks, OU versus Alabama, who you got winning? Score prediction for OU Alabama. That's 2 years out, brother. I really can't give you a real score prediction on that, but I will say, because I am an Alabama fan, of course I think Alabama's going to win. I don't think we're going to go in there and blow them out, because by that time I think Brent Venables will be fully entrenched. His defensive scheme, which is complex, is hard to learn for a first-year defense that had been used to Pilates and yoga and eating yogurt on a Sunday morning with Alex Grinch and old Linky Boy, who the Oklahoma fans affectionately call TBOW, Tebow. That stands for the bitch out west, by the way. That's, in case y'all didn't know, it's some newcomers in here and you're not an Oklahoma fan. You hear them say Tebow, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about Lincoln Riley. He's the bitch out west. I'm OU, and I hope it's another good classic game. Well, Eco Jar, I remember last time Alabama went to Norman. Y'all were up on us pretty good at halftime. I think it was like 20-3. And we actually ended up coming back in that game and give y'all somewhat of a scare. But Alabama just didn't have the athletes back then, and Oklahoma did. Oklahoma, I think, was maybe what, a year or two removed from the national championship. I think y'all might have ended up playing Southern Cal for the national title that year. I can't remember. Was that 2002 or 2003? I can't remember. And Granch is T-Bot. What's T-Bot stand for? Marty King says there's lots of top-tier players coming out of Texas. And Texas A&M both being the SEC affect our ability to get those players. Players want to be in the SEC, and now they may stay home now. Yeah, that's a little worrisome, because for the longest, hold up for a second. For the longest, Alabama and Texas A&M could out-recruit Texas and Oklahoma sometimes for a player in Texas because they had the SEC logo. They could go into the homes of these recruits and say, yeah, Texas and Oklahoma, they're great. They got a tradition. They're historically great in football. But we're in the SEC where we won, I think it's now I think the SEC's won 15 or 16 national championships this century. And we got a big, huge $20 donation from Alex Stokes. Damn, Keith, B. I can't even say your name tonight, man. I need to get me some. What I need to do from now on is take me a shot of Patron or a shot of something before I get up in here and loosen my tongue a little bit. But Heath Stokes' mama has come on up in here, and she started a $20 donation as she was the first female Outlaw Posse member. And she saddled up, and she's got her badge as well. But she didn't ask me a question. But I appreciate the $20 donation. Who's your favorite Alabama defense of all time? Well, a lot of people say 1992 because if we hadn't had that defense, we wouldn't have won the national championship in 1992. I promise you, we probably lost about 4 games, to be quite honest with you. 1992 was great. Gene Stallings won and only national championship. The second best would probably be the 2011 defense. Although we did lose a game that year, we did right the ship and come back and win the national championship and put that wet towel pop on LSU's ass in a revenge game. Eco Jar. I love Bama fans and the family too, so when my Sooners are sucking, I usually root for Bama in the playoffs. But it's been down recently. I hope the expansion will have a team support. Yeah, with the expansion, if the 12-team playoff had been in effect last year, guess who would have been in? Alabama. I've been on this debate about is Alabama better than TCU crap. They would have been in. They would probably play TCU in the first round. And I can guarantee you this, in my opinion, I don't think TCU beats Alabama like they did Michigan. That's just my opinion. I know I sound a little biased. Also, Tennessee would have been in. So there would have been 3 or 4 SEC teams in the playoffs last year, I think. It might have been a 4th team. I can't remember. Who else was ranked pretty high last year? We had Alabama, Georgia. We were the top 2. Then Tennessee, LSU. LSU might have got in too. I think LSU was like 10th or 11th ranked or something. But then they lost to Texas A&M. That just goes to show you that shit was luck. I ain't trying to say that because of my team once again, but LSU got a little lucky in that game. But they beat us, so there you go. And see, that's the thing about college football that sometimes sucks. If you lose one game, you're pretty much screwed sometimes. Although there has been instances where people have came back and been able to get back in there, as Alabama has proven numerous times, and other teams as well. LSU, even when it was just 2 teams in the BCS back in the day, LSU got back into the 2-team playoff with 2 losses and beat Ohio State for the national championship that year. Oh yeah, I remember that one year we beat LSU in the championship game too. Y'all's former in-state, I can't call them your rival because hell, y'all up on 91-19. Oklahoma is so. But I remember there was a lot of pissed off people that Alabama got in over Okey State that year. I really wish the expansion is the same season when OU and Texas join the AAC. The chaos would make for great entertaining success. Well, I don't know if I want to wait another year for the playoff. Well, actually, the playoff is in 2024, right? So it is actually. You're actually onto something there, Eco. Actually, the first 12-team playoff is in 2024. So it's going to be pretty epic. And some people think it takes away from the regular season games in a way, and it might end up taking some of the luster off of some of the regular season games. But I don't think it's going to be like the NFL where you got players sitting out the last game because you have these rivalries at the end of the year that are so important to these fans. Unlike the NFL, some of these rivalries that are supposed to be rivalries in the NFL, that they're not as vested as the college football rivalries. Wait, so it'll be the same season? Yes, sir, it will be. 2024 will be the first year of the 12-team playoff. That's going to be epic. Y'all want to know any other teams on here? Did we, Kentucky has South Carolina, Auburn, Georgia, and Vanderbilt at home. They have to go on the road to Ole Miss, Florida, Tennessee, and Texas. That's a pretty rough road. They got to go to Florida, Tennessee, and Texas. A lot of these are pretty unique matchups, like the matchups you never really thought of, like Kentucky and Texas. Don't really enthrall you, but it's unique because it's never happened before. And that's what's going to be so great these first 4 and 5 years of this, man. You're going to have some epic rivalries that are created, especially when they go to the 9-game schedule. They put Arkansas on there. Arkansas-Oklahoma thing, I think, will be a pretty good rivalry. And there's been talk about Oklahoma's other one would be Florida. That'd be pretty unique. Bob Stoops would probably really like that because Bob Stoops said in his podcast the other day that he has a lot of connections to Gainesville. You know, he used to coach down there in Spurrier. So Bob Stoops said he looked forward to Oklahoma going to the Swamp as his most wanted road game. Marty King says, I really look forward to OU being in the SEC. I'm way behind on what's going on. So can you tell me how the conference will be structured? By structured, are you talking about how many games will be played? Will there be divisions? There will be no divisions. They're doing away with divisions. So this year is going to be the 2 best teams that get in the SEC title game. And that's the way it should have been from the get-go. These divisions, they were a dumb idea, in my opinion. I mean, at first, hindsight's 2020, but now that you look back on it, you shouldn't have had divisions because for the longest time, you'd have the 2 best teams in one division in the East. When they first had the SEC, after Gene Stallings run his course, it was Florida and Tennessee who were the 2 best teams, and they would beat each other, so they wouldn't be able to play each other in the SEC title game because they were in the same division. Alabama and LSU. You know, it's just like I said, it's like a cycle. It cycled around. For the West was the dominant division. And for the longest time, Alabama and LSU were the 2 dominant teams in the SEC, but they would knock each other off, and you would not get to see Alabama and LSU in the SEC title game. And that's why they're doing away with divisions. As far as how many games we're going to play, like I said earlier, it's going to be 8 games this year. And in 2025, I expect they will eventually go to a 9-game conference schedule. Oklahoma's going to destroy the Gumps in Georgia. Well, I'm glad to hear you're passionate and you have belief in your team, brother. And I hope you do destroy the hedge pissers. And I wouldn't mind seeing Oklahoma put an ass whipping on Georgia. Hell, y'all owe them for knocking y'all off in the playoff and knocking Baker Mayfield out of the playoffs. That would have been a pretty epic game had Baker Mayfield and Oklahoma played Alabama in the national title game. That would have been pretty epic. But it didn't happen. And it didn't happen because of the hedge pissers. So y'all need to be mad at the hedge pissers. Don't be mad at us, man. We just gonna sneak up on you. Gonna come up here in Norman. We'll show y'all who the best Crimson team is. The Crimson War's coming. Crimson War, baby. I'm getting fired up. All right. Who else did we not get to? I already give y'all Oklahoma's, right? Oklahoma, just in case y'all missed it, Oklahoma has Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, and South Carolina at home. On the road, they have LSU, Auburn, Ole Miss, and Missouri. Already done that one. Mississippi State has Texas A&M, Arkansas, Florida, Missouri, and then on the road, Mississippi State takes on Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. It's pretty good road to hoe, too. Ole Miss got to go to Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. And Mississippi State ain't being done no favors either. Bro, help me. What? Let's see what we got here. Heath Stokes says Oklahoma got screwed with the schedule. Texas got the golden child treatment. 4 home games plus the Red River rivalry. Only 3 true road games. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that, Heath, that Texas might have got a little lube job there. Probably because, from what I understood, Texas wasn't really sold on coming to the SEC until Oklahoma got in their ear. And Oklahoma assured them that they could get out of the whole legislature type thing with Okie Pokey State. Because that was the thing for the longest time, is that Oklahoma said they couldn't join the SEC unless Oklahoma State got to come too. And I guess Oklahoma came around and said, look, man, sorry, we held out. We tried to get you in, Okie Pokey State. But I'm a man. I'm 54. False bravado, jackass, whatever his name is, Mike Gundy. Sorry, bro. I mean, well, at least now maybe you can win the Big 12, man. Maybe you can finally live up to that contract that you've been getting from Boone Pickens for so long. I know Boone Pickens has passed, but you're still getting a pretty hefty contract. Bro, help me. Bro, help me. Okay. All right, brother. You want to ask me something? Because if not, if you're trolling, I'm going to have to kick you up out of here. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. I'm going to remove you now. All right. So Skiff has now been put in timeout. If you come in here and try to troll and be a little bitch and try to screw it up for everybody, I'm not going to sit here and play games with you. I'm just going to block you. Or I might put you in timeout and force you to watch probably the best damn podcast of all time. So don't come here trolling. I know it's probably one of you USC skittle shitters because I don't know what it is about USC, man. They got a serious angst in me. I mean, they act like I mistreat them or something, man. I just try to give them a nickname that matches, man. You want stuff that matches, right? I mean, y'all the skittle shitters, man. Y'all go around doing you little... You know what you do. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it because I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna try to report me. That or you'll call my damn pregnant daughter, because that's what them people do out there. They ain't got no spine, man. Y'all can all KMCA, man. Y'all can kiss my ass. Let's see what we got here. Dude is trolling you, right? And I just kicked his ass. Alabama at OU will be epic. Woo! Said it. BJPC. Of the new Big 12. Who said it? That's right. Who said it? The OCF. That's who said it. That's the bottom line. Because the OCF said so. It's still a phrase from old Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like the way he used to shake his head when he whooped their ass, right? Anybody else I leave out? Y'all let me know. Y'all got any more questions? If not, I'm fixing to get up out of here. I appreciate all the support and everybody coming in here and donating money and whatnot and getting on here with me as I celebrate the entrance of Oklahoma and Texas into now the new and more powerful SEC coming to a TV near you in 2024. If you don't mind, hit the like button, jump out, hit the like button, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also, like I said, there's a little donation button down here if you want to go ahead and throw a few questions in here and hit the donation button, get it pushed to the top so I can answer them real quick before I get out of here. Hit that donation button. Also in the description section, I have a Cash App link as well if you want to hit that and donate to the program and get this party crunk, because I'm hoping one day to maybe have a huge tailgate party with everybody. You know, have the outlaw posse tailgate party. We could do it in a neutral city. We could do it in Nashville, man. We could just take over a Vanderbilt game or some shit. How soon before OU rises to the top 3 in the SEC? Well, a lot of people will come in and try to say, you know, it's not going to happen real quick. But if Missouri can do it, Oklahoma can do it. Hell, Texas can do it. I know that you don't want to hear that, but Texas, they're looking pretty good, I think, this year. Been hearing a lot of good thing about Quinn Ewers. I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about Quinn. How quickly will they rise to the top 3? Like I said, I think they could contend rather quickly. Certain things break their way, especially in the scheduling. Right now, it seems like Texas has got a little bit of an edge on the scheduling thing, as Heath Stokes mentioned. But like I said, if Missouri can do it, I think Missouri was in the conference, 4 or 5 years, and then they made the SEC title game in back-to-back years. But without divisions, it might be a little tougher. But I could definitely see Oklahoma contending for the SEC title and being in the SEC title game within the first 5 years, if you ask me, as well as Texas. You know, they got to be truthful. I know what you told me over Messenger, but I wonder if you changed your mind. Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah, I think I did tell you what I thought about that. Inquiring minds want to know what, Heath? And Thad we trust for the foundation. Yes, that is true, Hank. Thad Turnipseed is who he's talking about. Can't remember the title he has, but he's a behind-the-scenes kind of guy that takes care of all the little stuff that matters in the long run. Thad was also at Alabama with Nick Saban in his early years, and then he was at Clemson with Dabo and got Clemson on track, and now he's at Oklahoma. And so is Brent Venables, who, without Brent Venables at Clemson a few years ago, they would have went a lot worse than 9-3 because they were beating teams. I think they beat like Georgia Tech like 14-5 or some shit. They would have lost about 5 or 6 games that year had Brent Venables' defenses not basically shut everybody out just about. Quarterback 1 for Alabama. Who's it going to be? Well, right now, the guy from Notre Dame they brought in here, they thought that he might be the leading candidate, but right now, man, it's just completely up in the air, to be quite honest with you. Ty Simpson is a favorite of a lot of Alabama fans. They want Ty Simpson to win the job, but you never know with Nick Saban, man. He'll hold on to that shit until the start of the season, man. Till the very first game against Middle Tennessee State, and he'll probably start 2 or 3 quarterbacks in that game, just like he did with A.J. McCarron back today, and the other guy, what was his name, Philip somebody or another. But Nick Saban's bad about holding on to that shit. He'll hold on to that until the Texas game, probably. I don't know, who do y'all think? What about you, Marty King? Marty King's a big Alabama fan. Who do you think is going to be the starting quarterback for Alabama? Because a lot of people want to know that because they think that's the weakness in which they can dismantle and start the deterioration of the Saban dynasty through his poor quarterback play. Although I will caution y'all not to be too optimistic about the quarterback play hurting Alabama, because we did win a national championship with Jacob Coker, and we made it to the playoffs with Blake Sims, who was a converted running back to quarterback. So sometimes a quarterback, it helps to have a great quarterback, but sometimes it's not what gets you into the playoffs. But anyway, that's the new schedule for the SEC. So y'all get ready for it. It's coming. Welcome Oklahoma and Texas to the Brotherhood. With that, I'm going to get off of here. Like I said before, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And with that, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.